Good afternoon, fans and players of the Calgary Battletech League. We are moving into the third game of the contest, and the cream is very slowly rising up to the top. As well as a few teams are showing some struggles in getting into the winning side of those charts. This week, Brett is away and gone to the land of the living skies in Saskatchewan, so I'll be joined by our longtime commentator Jacque, as well as our current special reporter Geoff, to go over this week's games, the standings, as well as our predictions for next week's chaos. Welcome to Uncivil Discourse.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew there'd come a time when you guys would come crawling back to me saying, please, Jacque, please, we need you back. We need you back. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. Nobody believed me, but I knew it was going to happen. Yep, that's right, listeners. I'm back for this episode because Brett's out thumping everybody else at some other gaming convention. So you get to listen to my melodious voice in this episode. Also, I'm going to go on the record right now as saying I am not making any calls this game. I caused enough people to lose money last season. Forget it. Calls are purely on Geoff and Lee. And apparently Brett put his calls in early. So I'm completely safe on this one. Don't be listening to me for any calls.
I don't remember there being any crawling. Do you, Lee?
No, I don't crawl to John for anything.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to be on my hands and knees around him.
Yeah. And I don't... Is that the story we're going with? Brett is somewhere in Saskatchewan? We just haven't...
That's all I've heard is that he took off to Saskatchewan. I don't know. Maybe they don't have an extradition treaty with the rest of Canada, so I'm not sure.
Like I say, is that what we're calling it? We're just saying he went to Saskatchewan to never return? Is this his version?
Out to the farm. Yeah, we moved him out to the farm.
This is his version of going to the corner store for smokes and milk?
But it's expired!
Anyways, yeah, Brett will be back next week, so we figure, hopefully, maybe, we don't know. Maybe he'll find himself a new girl out there, and that'll be the end of it. It'll just be the Lee and I show.
Alex will be so sad that his daddy never came home.
He gets a house out of the deal, though, right? All right, moving straight into skill spends this week for Game 3. Take it away, John.
All right, let's see what everybody spent their skill points on this week. Starting off, we got the B-side brawlers, reassigning to an X-Men, 1N, 3S. The Fallen Angels are going Clan Salvage on the Banshee. They're upgrading the standard autocannon to an LB-10X. Also, double spend this week for the Angels, Jam It on the Jaeger mech to make it easier to clear those jams on those dreaded racks when they go click. The Quad Ps, because I do not believe in unnecessary alliteration, on his Gunslinger, pulls out the inner sphere internal structure and slaps back on some Clan Endo steel. Lords of the Underworld, on the Perseus, or the Orion that you ordered from Wish, picks up straight up gunnery. Yelz Keshik, faction tech on the Marauder. The Doombuds pick up engineering on their longbow, so it's going to be interesting to see how many more warheads for the foreheads they can fit into that chassis. Mass Destruction heads over to the black market for a light engine and his archer. The Donru Tiger Slayers, Bushido, on the Orion. The War Club picks up favorite weapon PPC on the Awesome, one of the best possible things you can do for it. The Vandals pick up favorite weapon LB-10X on the Annihilator. Oh, that's going to be ugly. Second St. Ives Janissaries pick up straight gunnery on its Marauder 2, both making it easier to hit with the racks and clear the jams. Thumper's Revenge, Clan Savage on the P-Hawk. I'm thinking that's going to be a large pulse laser. The Red Sons Irregulars, also Clan Savage on their P-Hawk. The Abashi, chassis upgrade. They swapped the Vulcan into a Kronos 3M. The Tin Man's Tin Cans, again, another one, full gunnery on the longbow. Kondo's Janissaries, gunnery as well on their archer. Parker's puts technician on the Centurion. The Odin's Storm Riders, Thunderstruck on the Archer. The Flying Tigers, Paul puts gunnery on his imp. The Blitzkrieg Jezebels got a double spin this week. Personal Vendetta on the Grasshopper, so don't piss that one off, people. And Anticipation on the Marauder, so it's going to make it easier for it to guess where you go. Geoff and our own Riston's Rogues clan salvages his ERPPC on the Grasshopper, so now he's got an ugly reach out and touch someone with a head cap capability. And the Banshee goes into the tech bay for a full engineer workout. Unfortunately, this week, we've got one team again that missed the cut. The Blood of Bashir missed out.
Man, 5 people picking up gunnery on game 3. That's quite a few. That's more than I figured. I would have thought some of the other skills would have been picked up instead of just straight gunnery.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised too with how many people picked up gunnery, only on the fact that effective gunnery skills, some of them are quite powerful, and if you play them right, are actually more effective than just straight gunnery. But these guys obviously have plans for what they're doing.
Plans? What do you need? You don't need plans past, 1 week, right?
I'm almost positive you have all of your skill spends figured out for the entire season, Geoff.
I have never had all my skill spends figured out for the entire season.
All right. It always seems like you have a plan.
Oh, I have a plan. It doesn't mean I have my skills picked out, though.
Yeah.
Hey, look at last year. I had skills left over that I just didn't have anything I wanted to pick. Or
That's true. You had points left over. You didn't want to grab bribery.
No, I had more than that. I had 3 points left over at the end of the season.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
With all you guys talking about these plans, if either one of you makes it to the finals and wins it, if you do not pull out a cigar, lean back in your chair, and say, "I love it when a plan comes together," it's over. Like, that's screaming for that to happen.
Like I said, I don't have plans, John. You just live week to week. The dice are fickle. How can you have plans?
Everything is just off the spur of the moment, John. Last season I tried plans, and then look what happened when I ran into Steven, and then ran into Geoff at the end. I'm going to try it off the cuff and see what happens.
What do you mean, Steven, the runaway semi-truck, and Geoff, the brick wall?
Yeah, pretty much.
It was a brick wall until the dice didn't work, right?
Yeah. You and I both had that problem. Though
hey, listen.
You seriously outplayed me in the semifinals, but Steven was dice. You got dice.
Yeah. And you think my dice were bad in the playoffs last year? Just look at my dice this week.
I can't wait to hear about this because I didn't get to watch the games because I had ended up playing today instead of last week. I'm really hoping to hear what you guys have to say about it because most of my comments are more of talking about the league players as they are versus what actually happened during the game.
Oh, I'll give you some numbers. I had some numbers from my hit percentages.
Looking forward to hear it. So, on that segue, we will move on to the league results from week 3. Now, this week saw a flurry of battles that came out with the majority of games going for a sweep from one side or the other, with very few close matches. Some really brutal moments were seen when mechs were hammered by concentrated fire, and a disgusting amount of mech kills happened this past week, so we're starting to see people get into the groove. Game number 1. In our Red Peaks arena, we see Kondo's Janissaries facing off against Riston's Rogues, with 2 of our top 2 veteran players taking it to each other in a very closely contested battle. This ending up in a 1-1 tie that I'm positive nobody would have seen coming. Geoff, you played out this match. Tell us what happened and why it ended up being as close as it was.
Neither one of us could hit. Rolling dice to hit was not a situation either one of us was capable of doing. Now, to be fair on that, at 90% of the time, all of our to-hit numbers were above 8s. We were constantly maneuvering that nobody was giving each other the good shots for anything less than that. Just for some numbers, we went, I believe it was 19 rounds. And in those 19 rounds, I fired my large pulse on my night sky, 15 of them, and I hit twice. My Gauss rifles on my Cerberus fired a total of 26 rounds of Gauss rifle or shots, and they hit 6 times. The Cerberus also fired the medium pulse lasers 45 times in the match, hitting 15 times. So that should just show you on both sides that neither one of us could actually hit and connect. I would like to say, though, that the Cerberus, of those 6 shots that did hit, 5 of them were on the mech that I killed, and then after I killed that mech, there was only 1 more hit with the Gauss rifles, and never again.
You do seem to have a habit of really piling the Gauss rifles into a mech without killing it? Because isn't that what happened with Heather, too?
Yes, her Marauder, I think, ate like 8 or 9 Gauss rifle shots until it finally died. On top of all the other damage I put into it.
Ooh, this sounds like it was an ugly, ugly match. Now, were you two just playing very defensively just to keep those numbers up high, or were you?
Oh, we were just constantly maneuvering. Outside of my Cerberus that stood in its nice set of woods behind a partial cover for the entire match. Outside of that, the rest of our mechs were fairly maneuvering around just to get numbers and stuff like that.
You can't really say it was fully cursed by the RNG gods. It was 2 veteran players, 2 very good players, knowing their opponent, knowing what they got to go up against, and playing to make sure that they could get the best possible odds of survival for themselves. So I actually wouldn't consider this a bad game, so to speak, even though the hit percentages were extremely low. It was a 1-1 tie. I consider this was an example of what happens when you have 2 of a couple of the best players in the league going head to head, knowing how each other play and knowing what their mechs are capable of. This was a fully thought out tactical brain ball match. That's what it was. It was the battle of the tactics, and it came to a draw. So I actually wouldn't consider this a bad match. I consider it an excellent example of a match.
Oh, it was a good game. Both of us had fun. It's just that our dice could not hit, which was the main thing, right? But no, we both had a great game.
I'd say find a virgin to sacrifice to the RNG gods, but I don't think there are any virgins left in the world.
Game number 2. Mixing it up with the ever-loved default map, we have a battle of old age and treachery up against the rookie exuberance, with the OG Fallen Angels, commanded by John, going up against the Quad Ps of Galen. Jacque/John, you were there up close and personal. Tell us how you saw the battle going and what caused the 4-2 victory of Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates.
This was purely another case of the opponent, the Quad Ps, they were hitting on ridiculously high numbers, and the Angels just couldn't hit on the average numbers. Started off, first shot of the game, the Angels opened up with the LB2X off of the Jaeger mech, actually managed to connect, needing 11s, got the doubles for the cluster, basically reach out, hello, we're here, and then turn 2 on 11s. The Gauss rifle from Galen, from the Periphery Pirates, smokes the Jaeger mech in return. Through armor critical into a full rack 2-bin. Now, the Jaeger mech on the Angels has case, so it didn't fragment, but it did you just farted in a smart car and it puffed out like a pufferfish, fell over, and spent the rest of the game venting steam. Next, I'd have to say 5 to 6 turns, 7 turns. Lots of maneuvering, lots of hitting. There was decent damage on both sides of the fence. And then, turn number 9, the Banshee got CT cored. The Pirates were able to really well group every time they hit the Banshee and were able to get through the center torso on it. Following turn, the Awesome responded by killing the Pirates' Banshee. Turn 11, the Mercury pulls an ammo hit to the Pirates' Enforcer, blowing it to fragments. Turn 12, the Awesome unfortunately fell with a left torso taken off, causing 3 hits to the XL engine in the Awesome, forcing a shutdown. And then it was the Gunslinger and the Marauder versus the Mercury 2. The Mercury 2 was doing really well until turn 15, when unfortunately it took that magic 20 level of damage and was unable to make the piloting skill roll, putting itself into the dirt, causing a 4-2 victory for the Pirates. So it wasn't a blowout for the Angels either. They still keep their Mechs lost versus Mechs killed, I believe, at 500.
Well, it sounds like it was an interesting game, John. Yeah, you're the master of trying to get those golden BBs, aren't you?
Hey, they're working. They're working. And again, the through armor crit turn 2. You can't be angry at that. There's nothing I could have done about that. The Jaeger mech was in its spot, in its firing thing. He hit, and that's what he rolled. There's nothing for something like that. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't get frustrated at it. It's just dumb luck, pure and simple.
Exactly, right? It's no different than Brett and mine game in game 2, where he destroyed his own Atlas from critical hits, right?
Hell, I was laughing at it harder than Galen was.
It almost happened this week as well. The next game, when we talk about it, you guys will hear about another situation where a lucky shot cost somebody a mech. So, John, I'm always glad to see you play with the rookies, because you give them a lot of experience, a lot of tips on how to play and what to do. I'm just so sorry to hear that your luck, not just your dice, but it seems to bleed into your opponent's dice as well. And shit just happens.
It's my lot in life. I accept it. But no, Galen is a great player. He's getting the hang of the league. His tactics are solid. He's a good player. You did have to mention, did slow it down a bit, but yeah, no, I've got no complaints about Galen. He's great. Getting kind of tired of playing on the default map, but it come to expect it, because I'm ceding all map choices to my opponents. I'm going purely on. I'm going to adapt to what's given to me.
Moving on to game 3. And once again, choosing to battle it out on the default map, just like you were saying there, John, instead of the slogging it out in the River Delta, which I do not blame them at all. That is a tough map if you do not have jumpers. The Doombud Lance of Alex pulled up short against Max's Abishai's Avengers. In a 4-1 contest that saw a lot of fire going into the Comstar Lance's Crusader, which unfortunately saw a similar cascading ammo explosion chain that knocked out the pilot for a loop, almost exactly what happened to Alex's poor old dad up against the Rogues. He got hit, it went through the armor, ammo explosion, rolled 2 more criticals, shot down 1 with the case 2 bonus, got hit in another ammo explosion, and the 3rd crit that he got from that explosion ended up hitting an engine. So the mech survived it, but the pilot lost consciousness, needing 10s, fell down, and was out of it for the rest of the game. Once that mech went down, it was a close-up beatdown, because once the Avengers decided to rush up and take the fight under the Doombuds' minimum ranges for their LRMs, it got ugly fast, and it was Alex constantly backpedaling, trying to get the fire into Max's units.
That sounds a case of like father, like son, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing. I when I'm watching, because they're asking me how the rules work for it, and I'm watching him do it, I'm like, oh my god, he's going to do it. He's going to kill his pilot's going to melt just like Brett's did.
That sounds absolutely horrendous and hilarious at the same time.
Oh, Alex was laughing the entire game. He really enjoyed the game against Max. But it was once that poor Crusader went down, it was just not writing on the wall. He still beat up a lot of Max's mechs, but you could tell it put him on the back heels, and he was kind of scrambling from that point on.
Yeah, from what I heard through various updates and whatnot through the day, yeah, this was just an ugly game for Alex, and yeah, you guys are right. Sins of the father fall to the son. I think Alex would have done really well on the River Delta. I mean, the Crusader can bounce, his Wraith can bounce. Half of his Lance had the maneuverability for the River Delta. So I think had they actually played on the River Delta, this might have changed it. The map would have made a difference. But they decided to go for the default, and unfortunately, Max is a very aggressive player, so he's gonna charge in on you. He's gonna Gmod cluster and box rush you, from what I've seen. So it's the default map gave the advantage to Max, not Alex, in having the outcome of this game. I think had they gone on the River Delta, I think this would have come to a very different conclusion.
Oh yeah, it totally would have been a different conclusion on that map.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think the only thing about the River Delta, I think it intimidates players, because it's very difficult to get line of sight, and it's very difficult to move if you don't have jumpers.
Yes, that is one thing about it.
Moving on to Week 3's fourth match, we see the stumbling Mass Destruction go up against the streaking Parker's Pathfinders on the Path Less Traveled map, where the Parkers found out that the C3I of the Mass Destruction crew is as deadly as advertised. Every time my Lance could get a decent set of to-hit numbers up against the Pathfinder's slower mechs, a mech would die. First, the Centurion in a mass of missiles from the Archer and Salamander, then the Wolverine when it tried to take advantage of a retreating Crab's rear armor, and finally that poor Grasshopper took an ER large laser to the head, which finished off the work a 5-point shot of missiles had started earlier in the match. And finally, the Night Star, which had almost pulled the game back into contention by devastating my Wraith and then 2 turns later ripping the badly damaged Crab left torso off, finally fell to a critical hit to the Gauss rifle. When that exploded in the left arm, the transferring damage from the left arm to the left torso destroyed the torso, killing the XL engine. It was actually really close, mainly because for about 3 rounds of fire, my Salamander missed on 5s and 6s with either all 3 LRM-15s or 2 of the 3. So much damage ended up being left on the battlefield that I should have been hitting on.
I have no idea how that feels. None whatsoever.
Yeah, but you were missing on 8s, 9s, and 10s. I was missing on 5s and 6s, so it was like I was firing your pulse lasers.
Hey, listen, even when we had 1 round of good fire on both of us that were low numbers, and we both just whiffed.
Chris was shaking his head. He's like, I can't believe this keeps happening to you. I'm like, I know. How am I winning this match?
Yeah, from last season with my Awesome and my Archer back to back. Yeah, I would never hit with all 3 PPCs from the Archer or PPCs from the Awesome or both LRMs from the Archer. It was 50% across the board. So yeah, I call that Tuesday.
Oh, and it's normal for me too. That's why I just take massive LRMs so that at least something's gonna hit.
See, the death of the Night Star there with losing the XL engine, that's, as much as folks are like, XL engines are meant to be in the assaults because you have armor, I don't like XL engines in assaults. If I'm going to have an XL engine, I like it in something that's fast and, quick.
Yeah, and that's just difference of opinion. I think if it didn't have the Gauss rifles, I think it'd be next to unkillable. Right? Like, the Gauss rifles sure give it the big bang hit, but I'd almost rather have 3 ERPPCs on that 100-tonner and the heat sinks to dissipate them than the Gauss rifles and the arms, because the arms don't have that much armor. Like, they have a lot, but not like compared to the torsos. The damage just transfers into the torso, and the next thing you know, your torso's in serious trouble.
Yeah, Gauss rifles in the arms, I mean, I can understand it for space, but I'll have to agree. Gauss rifles are one of those weapons that need the extra armor. They need to be mounted in the torsos. But, the Night Star, doesn't matter what variant you run, either the variant with the twin Gauss rifles or the variant that the Vandals or Chris is running with the LBs and the Ultras. I mean, the Night Star is an imposing mech unto itself. And just, you gain the additional armor, you did the additional weapons from having that XL, but you roll the dice on... If you take that engine, you take that torso, there goes your XL. I mean, it happened to my Awesome. And
you could almost get away with a standard engine on the thing if you went down to PPCs.
Oh yeah. If I would have gone with the standard 8Q instead of the one that I did, I wanted a little bit extra range on the ERs, just because I wanted to pair it up with the reach of the LB2s and the Rack 2s. So. But it's with the XL. You play your game, you take your chances. You lose a torso, It happens.
Yep, yeah, and like that. Then that's the reason why on my Cerberus I black marketed it into the light engine, right?
Game number 5, we have the Dawn-Ru Tiger Slayers taking on the War Club, dealing with the Pavement Experience map, which is usually a terror map for anyone who likes to run around. Now, I wasn't on scene for this match, but the 4-0 win for the War Club definitely pumps them high up in the standings for a tie with first place. As a matter of fact, it is an exact tie with the Abishai Avengers. So we actually have 2 rookie teams with a 3-0 record with a ton of kills and very few lost mechs.
Yeah, they were sitting kitty corner for us when JP and I were playing, and I remember hearing some stuff from my shoulder, like the war clubs failing a piloting check on cement and like sliding off. They're asking if sliding off the map, kills the mech, which of course in the league it doesn't, right? Because we don't count as going off the map as being destroyed. But yeah, so I thought it was going to be a lot closer than a 4-0, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. His lance has been doing some real work, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, Calvin and the War Club. I mean, you've also got to cheer for the venue team as well. I mean, I think it's a great idea. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to see a lot of this game because I was more focused on my ass kicking. But no, it looked like it was a fun game, and hey, it's good that we've got a couple of rookies on top again with the great records. But just remember, uneasy rests the head that wears the crown. Anything can happen. The RNG gods can decide that no, it will not be your day this day.
Oh, don't worry, you guys in the top 5, we're coming for you. Don't get comfortable up there. With our halfway game number 6. The league shows why everyone needs to fear the nicer-smelling members of our league. The Blitzkrieg Jezebels faced off against the Blood of Bashir on the Plains of Death. This 4-0 battle really provided a boost for the Jezebels' confidence and shows off the power of the 5 medium X-Pulse lasers the Grasshopper is fielding, as it took out the Bashir's awesome early. While it may not have killed it, it absolutely opened up the holes that did kill it the next round or the round after that. And then it went on to ravage everything else that came within 6 hexes of it, that loadout. Both players had a great time, and once again Andrew shows just how much of a contender he is, not just for the league in general, but for that lofty title of Good Egg.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy to see that Heather got a well-deserved win on this one. And hey, X-Pulse lasers, they're, some people scoff at them. It's like, oh, it's a knockoff. It's ordering your pulse lasers off Wish, blah, blah, blah. No. X-Pulses are great lasers. I'm going to go with that right now. And like I said, seeing her get that win, that was a very, very good thing for her. Yes, I'm also going to compliment her as much as I can because I actually want to get fed when I come out your place, Lee. Good game for both. And yeah, Andrew is very much in the running for the Good Egg Award. He's an amazing sport. And it's nice to see this camaraderie in the league. It's really good to see it there.
I don't think I've ever not seen Andrew happy, even when he's getting absolutely pounded with his lance.
Yeah, I don't get it. He's just such a always happy guy. And what I mean I don't get it is such awesome to have somebody walk into League, never played with our group before, and just fit in so well.
Yeah, and he's mentioned it before. He just wants to play games with giant stompy robots, which I think is just all of us in the end, right?
Yeah, this is our me time. This is our time to get away from the real world, to have some fun, blow off some steam, brainball each other, and just be part of the group.
So I know, Lee, that this match was today, earlier today, and we weren't able to watch. So did Heather actually stick with her plan? Because I know she makes plans, but they kind of fall through, right?
I'd say she did. She used the range of her mechs to the best advantage. She found spots that she could sit with cover, and either in a heavy set of trees or in a light set with a light set in front of it. And she made Andrew come to her, including moving her Grasshopper, so it was kind of tantalizing solo target, but with lots of trees that cut off some of Andrew's fire. So he ended up having to move mechs around the trees, run across an open field that she was able to lay fire with her other 3 mechs. When he came around, Heather actually backed off a little bit into a heavy set of trees, so his awesome was standing at 3 hexes away, while she was standing in heavy and he was standing in light. And she just worked it over, hit with all 5 medium X-Pulses, and then backed up to the cover of the rest of the lance. So she didn't do the stalling that we've talked about before. She actually went after the mechs, after taking a little bit of damage, because I think she took a couple of PPC shots. She backed up and made him come to her after kind of cutting the mechs off, so he wasn't able to do group fire onto a single mech. And then she just kind of picked them apart. Great game, but yeah, she played whatever the game plan she was thinking of, she played it well.
It's nice to see her get that grasshopper out there. It's a beast, that standard engine, and like you say, 5 medium X pulses. It's the perfect, heavy harasser.
Yeah, and it just does a great job. Our game 7 of this week was played out on the Barren Lands, and has a serving of mayhem with a brutal grouping of Odin's Storm Riders going up against the equally scary Vandals Valkyries. The gods were truly with the Storm Riders as they pull out a 1-0 win against a team with the power to drop potentially 1 to 2 mechs in a single round if the autocannon fire is accurate. Now, while the Vandals are slipping in the standings early, they have all the makings of a team able to pull out a quick win against anyone who doesn't take their firepower seriously. Great work, Will. Way to go, and good luck on the next match, Chris. We know you have the mechs and the lance to take some really quick wins.
Yeah, that's the Vandals with all those ACs, and now the fact that Annihilator has favored weapon for those ACs, that's just that's scary.
He took the example of what Steven did last season and just cranked it up to an 11.
If you want a lance that will absolutely positively sandblast every piece of armor from your mech, call him the Vandals, right?
Yep. But he can also slug it out, right? He's got 4 he can fire a 5 autocannon 20 rounds in a single round.
Oh yeah. He has a great lance. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Vandals, they can, with how the skills are being built and how everything's set up, is just they can reduce their opponents to Bologna colored dust. It's evil. I mean, this was a minor Ragnarok with how everything went, and it was just, again, the RNG gods reared their ugly heads. Like Chris has both lances are good. Chris has an ungodly destructive lance. It's just again, everything with this game comes down to the dice. So, but yeah, if Chris's dice heats up and he starts getting on a tear, it's going to go from a slow slide to meteoric rise. It's going to be ugly, and there's going to be no mercy.
And Will's got a great lance too. Like there's no knocking Will's lance. It's just we've been waiting for Chris's lance to do what it did the first round. Get in there and just blow holes in everything.
Exactly.
It's going to do it. We just have to wait to see when it happens. And when it does happen, it's going to be a highlight reel match.
Oh, it's going to be unhealthcare to begin with.
Game 8 takes us to the beautifully wooded Hills Arena. That is, until scarred and pitted with the remains of our next 2 contestants. Kel's Keshiks versus the B-side Brawlers. This game went fully in the Brawlers' direction with a 4-1 victory over a team that probably held back a bit due to not wanting to hurt the sensitive feelings of the young Brawlers commander. This puts the Brawlers into a great position to get into the standings top 3 slot, especially with the top team soon to be playing against some of the more veteran league members. Great game, Brawlers. Oh, that kind of hurt to say. And I am sending best wishes to the Keshiks when facing their next opponent.
It's really funny watching Lee eat crow. Like, that was actually good. Like, a little bit more sauce, maybe some ranch dressing, and you'll be able to really enjoy the taste of it there, Lee.
Off the top of my head, I can't say what I voted for, but I bet you I voted for the Brawlers to win this game. That doesn't mean I want them to win, but I probably voted for them to win.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a classic example of the backstroke. Yeah, no, Geoff, the Keshik was on a tear. The first 2 games, it was just, I'm going to eat your face. And then again, the RNG gods just decided it was not his day. So I'm sensing a bit of a trend here, possibly, for the award this week. But no, it was a good game overall. I know I'm going up against the Keshik later in the season, and I played him in an exhibition game last season, and it was a hoot. So I'm really going to be interested to see what our 2 lances do against each other, because we're going at each other and we'll be fully skilled up. So it's going to be a brutal knockdown drag out. But good for the B-side boys. Glad to see that they got their win under the belt, and it was really nice to see them make Lee eat crow. That was beautiful, guys. The round of applause for the B-side Brawlers. Let's give it to them.
We're not inviting him back, Geoff.
I don't know why we invited him in the first place.
Brett abandoned us.
That's true.
This show is
That's
always
true.
better with 3 of us, and Brett and I were both missing you last week, so we had to have you back, but I didn't want to risk going a twofer again and it not being as energetic as our 3-person show goes. I was being very careful not to say 3-way or threesome.
You know,
I'll just sit here in the corner whistle innocently.
You know, this game, I was expecting a lot more carnage than there was. You know, I figured there's going to be, the Keshik was going to kill more than just the one mech. But, you know, like we've stated, this is a dice game, and the dice are fickle at times. You know, Aaron, prove Lee wrong. You're going to go into the A side. Let's just face it.
He's going to hit a glass ceiling. The man's going to stop. We're going to have to crush him.
You just need a more bigger helping of crow, don't you? Okay.
Lee, your jealousy's showing.
Turning the corner. Oh, you shush up now. Turning the corner into our last few games, we have game number 9, which saw the Lords of the Underworld take on our other lovely lady of Battletech, Thumper's Revenge Commander Laura. Healing up on the Mountain Lakes map, the cold, crisp air must have done the Thumpers some good, as they bounced and trounced the Lords in a 2-1 matchup. This battle turns the tide of the Thumpers and gives them their first win of the season, and puts them in a really good stead to move up the ranks with a few more wins in the next few matchups. The Lords faltered a bit, but have all the right moves to right the ship before they start to slide down into their realm of the undercard teams.
Undercard teams? Undercard teams? No. We are not the undercard teams. We're just the ones that are more entertaining to watch.
I don't know about that, but you know.
I seem to remember both you guys laughing at all of my misfortune, so silence.
Oh, I laugh at everybody's misfortune, mostly my own. Yeah, I don't know. This game would have been a good one to see, I think. You know, it's the fact that it was only a 2-1. Both are strong lances.
Yeah, Laura was talking about she caught him with a couple of streak 2, like both streak 6s. Sorry, not streak 2s. Streak 6s hit in the same round, and it was the look on his face was pretty interesting.
It was beautiful when those streak 6s connects. I will admit, I'm a fan of streak systems, just not the streak 2s, but you give me a streak 4, you give me a streak 6, and you hit with 2 streak 6s. That's 24 points of damage. That's a PSR unto itself. And it's the streak 4s and the streak 6s. They're the short range. Hi, I'm an equalizer. You thought you'd do something smart and close to short range. No. You're going on your back. Bye-bye. But again, a low scoring game, and that's been the thing I've been noticing here, is it's not been the blowouts that we had last season, the 4-1, 4-0s. It's been low scoring games. So the kills for and kills against are gonna, I have a feeling, especially if we start getting a lot of mixing up with the top teams coming down, lower teams coming up for positioning into the playoffs, it's those kills for, kills against are going to come into it. Mark my words.
Game 10 has our teams of the Red Suns Irregulars going up against the Tin Man's Tin Cans, battling it out on the River Valley Arena. This battle sees the beleaguered Red Suns pull out an upset with a 2-1 win. This finally puts the Suns Lance into the winning side of things this season, putting them at a 1-win, 0 ties, 2 losses record, and the Tin Cans drop their second contest, moving down to a 0-win, 1 tie, 2 loss showing so far. Both teams are a class act and have the mechs and the talent to win. They just need to get some good karma falling in their direction and not keep shooting themselves in the foot. Great job, Gary, and good luck, Justin, in the weeks to come.
Yeah, again, another low-scoring game. So it's going to be all about positioning this season, I'm thinking. It's good to see that the Suns Lance managed to get the win in the win column. And sorry about the Tin Cans dropping again, but it's game 3. It's game 3. It's only game 3. I don't even start thinking about worrying about playoffs. Not that I'm going to make it this year, until about game 5, game 6. That's when you got to start worrying about it. This is only game 3. It's people still feeling the lances out, feeling their skills picks out, looking at what they're going to get. We're not really going to see anything until a couple more games happen. That's when we'll see some stuff happen.
Yeah, I think you're correct, John. That's
Whoa. I don't ever want to hear that come out of your mouth again.
I can give him one every now and then. It's like throwing a dog a bone, right?
If the dog is mangy and rabid, yeah.
I was just going to say, you don't feed a stray.
Listen, if you want that stray to then later attack something, you totally feed it.
Yeah, you, when you come by without food.
I don't play either one of you, so you're safe.
No, not us safe.
That can be changed, you know.
Yeah, I could.
I know people.
Yep. I am the people. I could make it happen. You could face both of us back-to-back weeks.
What was I talking about in the history of the league, ladies and gentlemen? Full-on corruption. Here you have it right here. Proof given to you live.
I have never stated anything other than I can be bribed.
And Jeff's a cheap date too, apparently.
No. I said I could be bribed. I didn't say I was cheap. I didn't get to watch much of this match other than Justin constantly grinning even though he was losing, right? Like, some of our new players this year, actually all of our new players this year, have been phenomenal when it comes to taking it on the chin when they've taken losses and stuff like that and still coming back happy for next week. It just shows that they're just having that much fun in the league, and it's really good to see.
Finishing off our week in the 11th spot, which was played in the peaceful grassland stadiums, is the game of the week, in my opinion, was when the second St. Ives Janissaries face off against the Flying Tigers. And boy, this was an ugly match. The St. Ives team showed no mercy with their new SRM missile tech that's mounted on that Atlas, and once within range, rocketed the Tigers imp into the stratosphere with Inferno rockets, never letting up and never letting the imp get below a +20 on the heat scale. With the Tigers' largest BV mech out of commission, the Janissaries then cleaned up the rest of the Lance in a 4-0 massacre that to most bystanders thought was a little excessive. But in all honesty, that's how champions are made, by brutalizing their opponents in every possible way.
It was so nice to see that Atlas blow up early in our match. And it's just so disappointing to see that it now has its SRMs with Infernos. I'm totally sarcastic in all of this, by the way. I'm glad I didn't have to face that thing with the field test. Paul's being Paul this season so far. I really want him to win. Of course, not our next match because him and I play. So Paul, wait till game 5 before you start winning. Yeah. That poor imp, +20 on the heat scale from all those Inferno rockets is just hilarious. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Field test on that Atlas is disgusting, and Paul was the first one to realize that.
Yeah, just all those Inferno. I wouldn't even call it a massacre. I'd call it like he decided to wage a war of genocide against Paul. It was evil. Now they're I don't have the words. For once, I do not have the words. How ugly this was. It was brutal. That was just a moment of silence. Press F in the chat to pay respects.
Is there anything left on that funeral pyre to pay respects to?
And like every week, we now bring you Jacque's Awards, where he is going to tell us what he thinks was the best game or games of the week.
Wait, when does he not tell us what he thinks in the first place?
I know, but we got to give him an intro somehow.
Well, you've heard their thoughts on things. I can tell you right now that my co-hosts never listen to me, so there's no real point in them saying anything what they can say. This week, oh gods, people, it was ugly. I do not know what the league has done collectively to anger the gods, but everybody's dice seem to have either woken up from sleep or gone from being awake to being asleep. This is a perfect example of how fickle the fates can be and how merciless and unforgiving the RNG gods can be. I'm saying all you players in the league, including myself, we've got to find some way to appease these gods to make it much more easy for us to get some hits in. So, because of all the misfortune, either induced by dice or induced by self-infliction, the entire league is getting but a single yike this week. Let's hope that somehow we find the right formulas to turn our lucks around and to get things going in the win columns for most of us. That's it for me for this award.
Well, thanks, Jacque, for that award. Yes, we all need to change our dice. They all need to go in the oven or get a hammer or something to help us all out. But that's then and there. So now we're going to go into our interview of the week, which is going to be Brandon Crooks of the Donru Tiger Slayers. Take it away, Lee.
Well, welcome everybody to tonight's interview. I am going to be interviewing one Brandon Crooks, who happens to be the son of one of our longtime players and league favorites, Paul Crooks. That's not saying anything against Brandon. I'm quite sure he's going to shadow out his dad quickly enough. Hi, Brandon. How's it going?
Hi, pretty good. And you're not wrong with that. I'm absolutely going to outshadow my dad if I have any chance at it. But it's been pretty good, though. I'm enjoying the league lately.
I have to say, you're already ahead of him in the standings. We'll see if that stays. I know your dad's got a bit of a rough schedule ahead of him, but we'll see if he can start turning that around and get some wins under his belt.
Oh, don't worry. I think he's going to be able to pretty easily get through the league, chew through a few with a couple of lucky boxcars and all.
So, since you are one of our legacy players, one of the sons of a old-time league member, what is it like being part of the Calgary Battletech League after basically cutting your teeth on your dad's minis at League?
Well, it's pretty good. I've been enjoying it. The whole league I find is it's really friendly. The people are all really great in the league, and it's any questions that have come up, I've just been able to ask, and it's great. The environment's just amazing. I've been enjoying it since I came into the league, and I mean, I've been enjoying BattleTech as long as I can remember. I mean, I was there way before I could remember I was there. I've loved the league though so far this year. It's been just great, and just being a part of the whole league is it's an experience, and it's definitely something I would recommend for any listeners to the podcast to definitely join if you have a chance. It's just amazing.
Yeah, we try to be as welcoming as possible, as well as informative to the new players. With the new Discord and YouTube channels that we have, one of the things we've been able to provide with the YouTube channel is actually the how to play, the rules corner, and stuff like that lets people be able to watch it on their own free time, as well as having this Discord channel where people can come and ask any questions they might have of the administration. We've moved in such great leaps and bounds to try to be as inclusive as possible, and I'm really glad that someone new like you are able to enjoy it with us and have such a positive response to it.
Yeah, it's been just amazing. I can't believe how just amazing the league's been. Really, I can't state it enough. I mean, you guys have been all from the old legacy players to all of the newer players and just watching some of the games being played. It's just amazing to watch the speed some of the older players can play at. It's just I can't wait to get to that level myself. It's just amazing.
Yeah, some of them can't walk as fast as they can move mechs, but or at least we're not all that old, but it sure feels it when we're seeing adult children of our players coming into play, and it's so awesome to watch some of you guys being so competitive with your family members. Like Alex has both his mother Laura and his dad Brett in League, and I know he's so looking forward to beating them. It's just a matter of time before he starts tabling them.
It's doing enough, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the older players got to pass on the torch to us young guys eventually. We just got to beat them first.
Why my children won't learn to play for at least 5-10 more years so I can rest on my laurels for a bit. So enough gushing about League itself, because I know how everyone here loves it as much as you do and as much as I do. Just on to Battletech in general. What era most appeals to you? Because you've grown up playing this game, and I know your
Ooh.
dad probably has told you tales of the before the clans and stuff like that. What appeals to you?
Oh, that's a real good question. I have been really into the BattleTech lore. I actually dove into it more myself than from what Dad's told me. I have to say, my favorite era. I love that time period, just before the clan invasion, from about 30, pretty much like late Third Succession War, probably on just before clan invasion. I love the whole story of what happens, the word of Blake coming to fruition into the Civil War, and eventually just kind of moving on through that, and everything that happens with Comstar and their rather deceitful tactics right at the after the Battle of Turkey, or however you say it.
Kid, I add the R as well. I
Oh,
think there was a misprinting or a poorly printed page in some
yeah.
book because my friends and I, for the longest time, called it Turkeyid.
And isn't it
And no, it's not. It's Tukiyid. There's no R.
Dookie? Really? Well,
Yeah,
that's news to me.
I know. I
Uh,
spent I spent probably a decade getting it wrong, and obviously some people were probably snickering under their breath when they heard it. And luckily, there was no internet at the time, so I didn't spend 10 years doing it wrong on the air. Yeah, you know what? To be
yeah.
honest, that's exactly the same era that most of the League legacy players are probably into too. The just prior to the clan invasion, because I think the best fluff was written then.
Yeah, there's all like the little bits of lore and like all that little bit of fluff just added in. I love it. I love it. Technology wise, though, I'm a big fan of right about 3067, if you want a specific year.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? Mine actually, I was a hardcore dyed in the wool Helm Memory Core fan. I just
Mm,
liked it when they first brought out the ER-PPC, the large pulse laser, the pulse lasers, and the only ER medium laser, or sorry, ER large laser. That's what I was first into. But then they came out with like the plasma rifle and the MML, and I was just like, yep, nope, I've got to move ahead with the times because those weapons are amazing.
believe it. And you know what? To this day, I don't think I've ever progressed that far into the leagues, or at least into the era of tech. I think we've pretty much played up to 3067.
Yeah, that's about where we are right now.
And so,
Wait until we
yeah,
start bringing in some of the newer stuff. You're gonna love and hate the plasma rifle. It's great.
I believe so. That's going to be scary.
Speaking of tech, what is your favorite mech
Yeah.
and why is it your favorite mech?
Oh, you know what? I am going to say my favorite mech. I love the Argus.
Oh, okay.
I It's a weird choice for a lot of people, but I don't know. I love the look of just the drum on the one side and the two long weapons on the side. If we're talking inner sphere, if we're talking the good old clanners, it's got to be the classic old vulture model. I love the vulture, the long, real long quad tube lasers on the arms, the two giant missile racks. Oh, I don't know. I love the vulture.
It's a great mech and a
Ugh.
horrendous mini to put together back in the old pewter days. Brutal to put
I
together.
I had just picked one up actually. Well, there's a certain gentleman selling some mechs at the Ogre's Den there where we play, and yeah, I went and picked one up, and it's a tiny little model. I could just imagine.
And that was before they really started coming out with the accelerator spray that you could use to get the glue to dry quickly. So you ended up having to do things like pile pennies up to hold it in place.
Oh,
It was brutal. I actually launched one off the 18th story of an apartment building I was living in because after 4 attempts, it just kept bending. The glue just wouldn't hold. So finally I walked out and I just tossed it off the balcony and then went and bought a new one. But, and then I asked someone else to put it together and they got it together for me, but it was sure a pain in the butt. Going back to the old days, your dad was an extremely valued member of League, extremely feared member of League because he was really good and unpredictable. How much of a rivalry do you have with your dad coming into the League this season, and how much do you have to prove? Like, are you just kind of sitting back and waiting, or are you just going to go claws and paws and try to take him out quickly?
well, you can't rush when it comes to my dad. You try and take him out on one side or push one way, and he just goes right up the middle. But you'll go up the middle to try and take him out, or there's no tactics for that man. He's got his own way of thinking that it's like playing 3D chess with 3 people at once, with one hand tied behind your back.
Yeah, exactly. There used to be a saying with Paul, you never knew which Paul was going to show up. Right?
Yeah.
There was Paul, the tactical genius that you just wouldn't see what was coming. And there was the Paul that would try a DFA from 1 hex.
Exactly.
So when you sat down to play,
told.
you never know. I was so nervous to play Paul this season that I was just like, he's going to crush me and I'm going to look like such a noob after being playing competitively like more than he has in the past 20 years. I was so sure he was going to crush me. And then we had a great game. It was only a 1-0. Like, it was very, very close. One move on his part that he went the wrong way. And we even discussed it like the instant the game was over. He goes, I should have chased down your crab, shouldn't I have? I'm like, well, yeah, you would have tied it. And that might have actually won it if that mech wasn't behind him shooting him at the back when it shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
So do you think you're going to be able to actually beat your dad like this season at overall standings, or maybe even in the playoffs if you guys face?
Oh, I don't know. I'd say I have a chance, but you can never count him out. I definitely think it's going to be a tough fight if we face each other off. I think it's going to be a real close, and it's going to come down to skills and mech builds. It's going to be interesting, though.
Excellent. Well, that's awesome because I'm really looking forward. I might even actually reschedule my game just so I can sit down and watch you guys if you're playing. I don't know if you play off in the regular season, but I'm pretty sure you guys will run into each other in the playoffs. Finally, what I ask everyone in these interviews is, do you have any final words or any words you want to pass on to the league itself? And it can be as wild as possible or just a friendly greeting. Entirely up to you. You go right ahead.
Well, I'll give a good friendly greeting. From the Drax, of course. From the Draconis Combine. All you honorless houses. The Drax will hold their place as the Great House. The Great House. Bring it.
Well, Brandon, thank you so much for letting me interview tonight. I know we were a little bit late in getting this done, but thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday when we get to be able to play in person.
Absolutely. I cannot wait for Sunday. I have been obsessing over the Battletech League since I joined. I've been thinking up mech builds, and I can't wait. Thank you, Lee, and I greatly appreciate the chance to be interviewed. Have my say.
No problem. Thank you so much, and we'll send it back to the regular show now. Have a good night.
All right. That was an awesome interview. Nice to see some of the newer players getting to be featured on the interviews as well. Thank you very much, Lee. Week 4, upcoming games, 4 unbeaten teams. The War Club, 3-0-0, 12 kills with only 2 lost. Abashi's Avengers, 3-0-0, 12 kills with only 2 lost. The perfect tie at this point. Kondo's Janissaries at a 2-1-0 record with 8 kills and 3 lost. And finally, our beloved Geoff and Riston's Rogues with a 2-1-0 record with 7 kills and 1 lost. This has 2 rookies on top of 2 veteran players. This is amazing. This is the essence of the game, where you can have the rookies take top slot, but everything can change, as I said, throughout the season. Now, granted, last season it was the Dirty Wobbies that were on top, and yes, the Dirty Wobbies took the championship, but there's no Wobbies this season, so we could be very happy. Game number 1, we have the Quad Peas, because I'm sick and tired of trying to say alliteration, at a 2-0-1 record versus Condo's Janissaries at a 2-1-0. And we have been joined by a wild Brett. He is back from the barren wasteland that is Saskatchewan, so he must have done something to get himself kicked out. Brett, what's your prediction?
Dad's back with milk.
As for the game, I think this is probably going to be a Condos 4-1 victory. I think Galen's going to finally run into a wall that he's just not used to.
Yeah, actually, before you showed up, we were talking about that, Brett, and I actually feel that while Galen is really coming into the game, really getting a good grasp on the league, JP doesn't need to grasp anything. He's got full control of the game. He knows how to play League. This should be a Condo Janissaries win. I just think Galen has no fear. He's not worried about the people who know supposedly more than he does, or the people that have League down pat. I think he's going to take it right to JP, and unlike your game with him, Geoff, there's not going to be any little, shuffling from point to point trying to get that perfect shot. He's just going to run into JP and let the dice fly, and I think the Pirates are going to win a 3-2 victory.
I think the score is going to be a 3-2, yes. I think it's going to be the other way, though. I think it's going to be Condo's Janissaries over the Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates. It's not hard to say at all, John. And I think Condos are going to take it with a 3-2, though.
Game number 2, we see the Flying Tigers with a 0-3 record versus Geoff in the Riston's Rogue with his 2-1-0 record. Brett, what's your call?
Riston Rogues is going to walk away with this one, but Paul is going to get his first kill of the year. Not sure which mech he's going to take out, but Paul is going to finally sacrifice something and pull down one of the rogues.
It depends. Do my dice continue to do exactly what they're doing? Because if that's the case, we might end up with a tie again. But yeah.
Yeah, your dice have been trying to deny you kill count this season, haven't they?
My dice have been trying to deny me everything, except apparently winning initiative. Because winning initiative, I can roll 10s and 11s. My Lance initiative, I can roll 10s, 11s, and 12s on. The rest of everything, I cannot.
So what do you think is going to happen, Geoff?
It's my own match, man. That's like...
You got to call it. We all have.
I don't have to call my own match.
Well, then, do you want John to do it for you? Because whatever he calls is not going to work.
Okay, no, I want John to call it. Yeah, 100%.
Sure. Put me on the hot seat. Thanks a lot.
You know it.
I said I wasn't going to do this, guys. Okay, anybody listening, do not make any bets off this one. This is going to be a fun match to watch, just because you've got 2 league veterans going at each other. It's not going to be a high-scoring game. I think this one's going to come... I got to go 2-1 for the Rogues. Sorry, Paul, but I've got to give it to Geoff. You're going to get a kill. Definitely going to get a kill, but I think Geoff's going to take the win.
So looking at this match, I like calling underdogs. That's why my percentages are terrible. Paul is so much fun to play, but that has nothing to do with the dice. Whether or not he's going to win or not. Geoff, you're in the top 4. I definitely see this being a victory on your side. I'm going to agree with Brett. I think it's going to be 4-1 because Paul does not play tentatively. There's no such thing as that in Paul. I think he's going to jump in your face and he's going to give you targets and you're just going to have to try to shoot him down.
I haven't played Paul since I first joined the league, way back when I met Brett and yourself, Lee, and I'm looking forward to it. It's just old league all over again.
Oh, it brings back. It makes me feel like I'm in my 20s again.
I know, right? I wasn't even in my 20s. I was in my teens.
You know, it's funny. And now a bunch of the young guys in league are going to comment, and I'm going to feel so old so fast.
It's because we all are old, Lee, you know.
And for you listeners that can't see this, the hateful crap looks I'm throwing at Lee and Geoff are mainly because I'm 50. Moving on. Game 3. We have the Abishai's Avengers and Max with his 3-0-0 perfect record versus yours truly and the Fallen Angels with my outstanding no wins, 1 tie, 2 losses. Brett, let me have it. Jesus. Perfect. Awesome.
Abishai's is going to come in swinging. They are going to grab you. They are going to grab you around the ankles and give it to you 3-1.
So glad we can edit out when I started laughing. Your dog scared the shit out of me. John, normally I would totally, support you, buddy. You're a good friend and everything like that, but Max is on a tear. He has faced 3 decent opponents up to this point and has just made a mockery of other people's tactics. He's walking away without even a whole lot of damage, let alone the fact that he's killed all 12 mechs he's faced. So I'm going to say he does it again. I'm going to give it a 4-2 because I think you've seen enough of his stuff to actually throw some damage back into him. I'm going to give the Abishai Avengers a 4-2 win.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, John, but I think he's just going to paste you. In the end, I think it's going to be a 4-1. The Max is, like Leah stated, is on an absolute tear with stuff. Hey, listen, I'm pulling for your golden BBs. I really hope you get a couple of those in, but I don't think it's going to be enough, man.
Well, at least they apologized to me because I'm here in the room. The rest of the time, they wouldn't. Game number 4. Parker's Pathfinders at 2-0-1 versus Brett and the second St. Ives Janissaries at also 2-0-1. Brett, how are you going to call this for yourself?
I'm sorry, Chris, in advance. The Atlas is going to come away with 2 more kills, and I'm not sure who the other 2 are going to, but it's going to be a 4-1 walkaway. Now, I'm way too aggressive not to lose something in this match, so Parker's Pathfinders is definitely killing something. It's just a matter of what.
Yeah. Kill that Atlas before it gets anywhere close to you with Infernos, Chris. You've seen what it does. Infernos are bad. Don't let them anywhere near you. I do think you are going to take this, though, Brett. I don't think you're going to get a 4-1. I believe it's going to come out to be more of a 3-2 in your favor. Maybe a 4-2. But I think Chris is still going to give you a little bit of a run for your money.
I know Chris is just ecstatic. Even with his loss against me today, he's ecstatic about the fact that he's doing well. He's been getting some kills, and his mech choices were so much superior than last season. That Nightstar terrifies me. As much as your Atlas is a absolute disgusting beast at close range, that Nightstar with its lethargic is just terrifying. Like, it's just, I don't even know what to do with it. I got lucky and got an ammo, or got his Gauss rifle hit, and that killed him. Otherwise, I think he might have actually beaten me. I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-2 for you, Brett, but I think he's going to do his best to take down that Atlas quickly, especially considering the fact that's everything I told him to do after our game today, is get that Atlas down as fast as possible.
Coaching!
It's not during the game. I'm allowed to do it.
Off to game 5, we have the Blood of Bashir with a 1-0-2 record versus Spawn of Brett and the Doom Buds with their 0-3 record. Brett, how you calling this 1-1?
You know I'm not his only parent in the league, right?
Oh
This
yeah,
is-
we mucked that up on the last show. Sorry about that, Laura.
Alex is going to come off of his streak, and I do believe he's going to pull a 2-1 victory on this next match. He's got all of his ducks in a row now. He's now starting to look at things that he can start to do to make things work better for him, not just be better. So I think he's going to pull a 2-1 victory.
To be honest, I'm actually in the same vein. Right, I know Andrew is ready to go, and he's ready to play, and he's having so much fun. But he was very nervous about my C3I, and that was game 1. Alex is going to have all 4 of his mechs linked. I think he's going to have the feeling out process of the Crusader down pat. Just like last game, either this game today, he wasn't really ready for what Max was throwing at him, but I think he's going to be ready next game. I'm going to say it will be the Doom Buds. I'm going to go 3-1 because I think he's going to get a lot more work out of his longbow once he gets those Narc Missile beacons on.
I think, yeah, this is Alex is going to pull off his win in this one. And I think Brett is correct with the 2-1. As much as Andrew is he's 1-0-2. I think Alex's C3 is going to carry the day on this one, and Alex is due for a win.
Next up, Game 6. We have the War Club, Calvin, at a 3-0-0 undefeated record versus Lee and his massed destruction, or being destructed, with his 2-0-1 record. We turn it over to the experts. Brett, what do you call?
The new guy, the War Club, he's going to keep swinging for the fields. I think he's going for another win. I think Mass D is just going to go and change their record to 2-1-1. Let's see. War Club's probably going to pull out 3 kills, but he's going to get costly. That dragon dies every game, so it's going to continue to die. It's just a matter of what Lee picks up as a second mech, and I think it's going to be a 3-2 victory for the War Club. Sorry, Mass Destruction.
Yeah, banning me after 2 weeks.
Lee's gonna get stomped.
Wait, hey now.
Sorry, Lee. Yeah. Calvin is just going to continue his utter domination, and you're just the next one in the way. I don't think it's going to be a total stomp, though. I think we're going to see a 3-2 or a 4-2, perhaps even a 4-3. You know what? I think it's going to be a 4-3. So prove me wrong, Lee.
Calvin, I haven't purposely been ignoring you. I didn't mean to do that in round 2, not getting any photographs of your game. And that's not me sucking up for you to take it easy on me. I expect a really good game. But to be honest, I haven't really paying attention to him. So we're going to see how it happens. We're going to see how it goes. He's obviously playing a tough team with a 3-0 record, with his just the level of destruction versus what he's been taking for damage. But he hasn't faced me yet. And I'm going to make him pay for it. I'm going to say it's 3-2, but it's for me.
Well, listeners, we've made it to the 7th inning stretch of Game 7, and that's going to see Vandals Valkyries with a 1-0-2 record versus the Donryu Tiger Slayers with a 1-0-2 record. Same record, 2 very different teams. Off to the experts. What do they think?
All right, Vandals Valkyries, Donryu Tiger Slayers. This is a game of somebody new versus, oh my god, eat my LB20s. I think the Vandals is going to come just Valkyrying down the road and lay some massive firepower down. They're going to pull out a 2-1 victory, but it's not going to be without pain. And if I had to guess, I think it's the Axeman that's going to go down.
I don't disagree with you, the winner. I really do think the Vandals are going to take it. And the reason why is Brandon plays pretty... Like, he's got his C3 system, and he will stay back with his long-range mechs, and he'll come up with the front with his other mechs to try to get ranges. But I think he's not going to be expecting some of the ranges that the LB20Xs and the Ultra 20s can reach. And his mechs that he sends up forward are just going to get off the board. They're just going to get vaporized. Because they're going to be moving to get line of sight for the other guys, and they're going to get eaten up. I think it's going to be a 3-1, because I know those autocannon 20s and LB10Xs are going to really do work when they start hitting. Yeah, it's 3-1 for the Vandals.
I think you are correctly. I do think if 3-1 is the way it's going to happen. That Annihilator with its 4 AC 20 or LB20 or 10, sorry, LB20s. Good lord, that would be disgusting.
God.
But the fact that it has favorite weapon now, that's just disgusting. It's just going to reach out and touch you in not a good way.
Game 8 this week, upcoming week, has the B-side Brawlers with a 2-0-1 record versus the Blitzkrieg Jezebels coming off their first win, 1-0-2. What do the experts say?
Both very experienced players, both very lucky players, both looking to get more wins. I do believe B-side is going to pull this one out. 3-2 victory. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be ugly. It's just going to be, this is how many mechs have died when the time expires.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Aaron is just going to continue, especially after coming off that win against the Kels Keshik. I think he's just going to frustrate Heather, and he's going to take the day. Although, if Heather gets that grasshopper in and starts tearing stuff up with it, might be a little bit different. But I do think in the end, you're going to see a B-side Brawlers victory of a 3-2.
So I got something I got to say before I rip into this one, because I have to rip into this one. Just so everybody realizes, I've made a mistake when I was doing the writing, since I'm not the writer, Brett is. It's when we're saying 2-0-1, we're saying 2 wins, 0 ties, 1 loss. I have that slightly reversed. It should be going 2 wins, losses, ties. I've messed that up. I was doing by how I see the point system. Right? Wins are worth points, ties are worth points, losses are worth none. That was my mistake, and I apologize if I caused any confusion. Now, there is no way in hell I am calling for Aaron against my wife. Discord, Facebook, in person, Aaron and I are at each other's throats in the most fun, amicable way of having a brutal verbal diarrhea fight, and Heather plays up. The better her opponent, the better she plays. So if you're a A-side champion team, you've got to worry about it when the Blitzkrieg Jezebels are on the field. Heather is going to win this, or she's going to bring it to a tie. And since we are saying that the score is going to be close, I'm going to go 3-2 as well, but it's for the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. Heather plays up, and Aaron can bite my shiny metal.
Nope.
Your short shiny metal?
Nope. Game number 9. We have Thumper's Revenge with a 1-0-2 record versus the Storm Riders with a 2-0-1. We send it to the experts.
This is going to be Thumper's Revenge, bouncing up and down, hitting the Odin Storm Riders all around town. It's going to be lots of damage, but it's going to get spread out. With that being said, it's going to be kind of a low-scoring game because everybody's going to be throwing random missiles everywhere. But I believe the Thumpers are going to kill 2 mechs. Odin Storm Riders will kill 1 mech, which means Laura's bringing home a victory. Thumper's Revenge, 2-1.
Oh, like I keep saying all the time, I think Laura has a great team. It's fun to watch her play. I've yet to sit down and watch Will play. I think maybe I'll have to pay some attention this upcoming game and see what they do. I think Will's got a lot of luck on his side, where Laura is now starting to throw some of her experience at the table. I'm going to say it's very close, Brett, and I'm going to call it tie, 2-2.
Chicken.
Shut up, you.
Says the man that's called every game of his a tie so far that he wants. Isn't that your whole strategy this year, John? Ties?
I just said it. Whether or not it happens is another matter. I leave that in the well-trusted hands of the gods.
I think Will has a really good lance. I think Laura's got a really good lance also now so far. But in the end, I think we're going to see a victory from the Oni Storm Riders with
Odin. We had it wrong.
Okay. Apologies, Will. I do think your Odin Storm Riders are going to take the day, though. With a 2-1.
We're in the home stretch. Game number 10. We have the Tin Man's Tin Cans at an 0-1-2 record versus Kel's Keshiks at a 2-1-0 record. To the experts, what do they say?
This is the Battle of the Brushes. Both of these are some of the most amazing painters I know. And with the flip side of that, only one of them has experience playing the game. I have the utmost respect for both of these guys. I think they're going to have a wonderful time. I think they're going to have as much fun sending jibes back and forth as they are LRMs and autocannons and missiles. But that being said, Kel's Keswick is just hammering most of his games. You know, can't beat the bees. But other than that, I think it's going to be a 4-1 Kel's Keswick.
You know, as much as I want to see Justin win this one, I think Geoff and the Keswick are just going to overpower him and take the win. Now, to be fair, if the Keshik's dice are anything like last week's, the Tinmans have a good chance. But I do still think we're going to see a Keshik win in this one. And yeah, I think it's going to be a 4-1.
I don't know how Justin hasn't won a game yet. He's got a really good, solid lance. Geoff's got some powerful machines in his lance as well. So I really want to see Justin win, and I don't want to vote against him, but I'm gonna have to. Geoff, I think you're going to take the game. It's going to be a 3-1 victory for Kel's Keswick.
And last but not least, the final game, Game 11. We have the Red Suns Irregulars at a record of 1-0-2 versus the Lords of the Underworld. Also with a 1-0-2 to the experts.
Okay, both of these guys are amazing to sit and watch, to chat with, to just hang out and watch their games. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's also going to be a lot of moments of, oh my God, how did that not hit? Oh my God, how did you get behind me? Wait, that axe came in and it cleaved what? The Lords of the Underworld with their Berserker are just going to come running in, which plays into the Red Suns Irregulars' really aggressive style as well. But the Red Suns Irregulars are more firepower and a little bit of accuracy with a couple of targeting computers in there. So the Lords of the Underworld are going to come running in, and they're just going to run into a hail of autocannons. I'm going to call this Red Suns 3-1 victory for their second of the season.
It's hard to vote against Gary. It really is. They're running the same record. They're not having a whole lot of success yet in the year, but it's early. It's really early. The fact that we have guys that are 3-0, that's going to change soon. But it's still early. I'm going to go with Lords of the Underworld that have been struggling lately. I'm going to go with Jay, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-1 game because I don't think anybody's really going to get too heavily hurt in this match. It's just going to be a couple of mechs. One taken out by luck and the other one by mass fire.
Yeah, Gary. You just want Gary to win, right?
Always.
But Jay is... I also want Jay to win. I want them both to win. But I do think... I really like some of Jay's mechs. Like that Black Knight with the ER lasers in it now. Just so good. Just so good. But target computers and racks I don't really mind about, but targeting computers are a huge help in getting yourself gunnery on stuff. I think it's going to be a lot closer scoring, though. I think it's only going to be a 2-1. And I think it's going to be in Jay's favor. As much as I'd like to say Gary, I think Jay's going to take it with a 2-1.
All right, that is going to wrap us up for this week. I missed the large half because I was spending 6 hours driving in back from the next province over. I enjoyed going to Saskatchewan, but gosh darn it, I could not get home fast enough. I hope you all had an enjoyable show this time, and look forward to our regularly scheduled broadcast in 2 weeks.
Yep, Dad came home with the milk and cigarettes. He's still here now, unfortunately.
Papa's home.
Good to have you back, Brett. How was Saskatchewan? You'll have to tell us about that later for your 40K stuff. Ugh. But yeah, nope. Looking forward to talk to you folks on the next episode. Have a good one.
Thanks to the guys for having me back. It's been a blast, as always, even with all the good-natured ribbing we do back and forth. And thank you to the listeners for putting up with our malfeasance these past few hours. Hope to see you all again, and there will be another kill box coming out. I've just got to work on it.
While this does seem like a slightly pared down episode, because I'm not nearly the writer that Brett has become, we do hope that you enjoyed this week's offering, and are ready to like, subscribe, comment to help out the channel, as well as to spread the word to your friends. Because as we approach our 150 subscribers, the giveaway gets closer and closer to being a reality. So stay tuned to the promo for information on how to enter, and we are excited to see all of you at League next week and on the next episode of Uncivil Discourse.
Thanks to a very special member of the community who requested to remain anonymous, we have some very exciting news. This community member painted and donated a lance for us to give away as a random prize for our subscribers. Let me tell you, these mechs are even more beautiful in hand than they are in the pictures. They're painted in a Free Worlds League purple. This League-compliant lance includes a Phoenix Hawk, a Rifleman, a Warhammer, and an Atlas. Any new or current subscriber to the channel can comment on any of these videos, and I mean any of them, with this spot in it to be entered in the draw. Now, because we are a growing little community with aspirations of grandeur, we will send these mechs in the mail to the winner in Western Canada at no cost. If someone in Eastern Canada or out of the country wins the draw, we will be more than happy to cover the first 20 Canadian dollars for shipping costs, but ask that the winner cover the rest of the shipping. We will work with the winner to get a quote for shipping, and then we can discuss if you would like to keep this beautiful lance or pass it on to someone else. When entering the draw, please keep this in mind. Now, to get entered, there's not much that you have to do. All you need to do is like our video and comment below. We will do the draw when we hit 150 subscribers. Each video that you like and comment will get you an entry in to get this amazing lance done by one of our local members. Thank you all very much, and we look forward to that next major milestone. Bye.
Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night and lights out.